This is lesson 4 on page 45, adding charts. It is sometimes difficult for an audience to grasp the meaning of large amounts of data or financial information just by glancing over tables. This is especially true for long tables that have many columns. In larger rooms, it may be difficult for some audience members to see such figures on the screen. You typically don't have the time available during a presentation for people to spend analyzing complex tables. And quite frankly, that can make for a boring presentation. You need a way to quickly show the audience members why all of this information matters to them. PowerPoint provides you with the ability to create eye-catching charts that show the meaning behind complex strings of data. You have a vast array of options for formatting these charts to make your point clearly and to show the audience a broader view of the data. Using these features lends visual appeal to your presentations and reduces the amount of time you need to spend explaining complex numerical relationships. In this lesson, you will create a chart, format a chart, and insert a chart from Microsoft Excel. So topic A on page 46 is creating a chart. You have added tables to your presentation, and these tables contain information about sales trends, research findings, or other key matters. To most of the audience, all that matters is the impact of this information. You may need to convert the data in your tables into charts that your audience can analyze and interpret instantly. Charts help you visually represent numerical information to your audience. You can create a variety of charts in PowerPoint, which allows you to tailor charts to best suit the specific needs of your presentation. So charts are simply graphical representations of numerical or mathematical data. Here in my example presentation, I have a sales drop slide that has a table for the last fiscal year and the current fiscal year's 4 quarters. Now, instead of the audience members, dissecting the numerical figures in here, I can chart this graphically on another slide to, quickly be able to analyze the 4 quarters of the last and current fiscal year. So to do that, I first want to navigate to the slide that I want to put my chart on. I'm going to put mine on slide number 3, the sales comparison. I would go up to the Insert tab on my ribbon. And here in my Illustrations command group, I have a command button for Chart. And this will open the Insert Chart dialog box. In the left-hand pane going down here are all of your chart categories. We have column. The column charts are used for plotting data that is arranged in columns and rows in tables and spreadsheets. Column charts are useful for plotting data changes over time and for making comparisons. Column charts typically contain categories along the x-axis, which is your horizontal axis, and numerical figures along the y-axis, which is your vertical axis. Then we have our line category for plotting data that is arranged in columns and rows in tables and spreadsheets. Line charts are ideal for illustrating trends over time. Then we have our pie category, used for plotting data from a single column or row. Pie charts are useful for displaying values as a percentage of the whole. Then our bar chart category for plotting data that is arranged in columns and rows. Bar charts are best suited to making comparisons among items. Skip over to my tree map category for plotting data that is organized as a hierarchy. A tree map chart segregates categories using color, shows their relationship with one another, and indicates ratios within the hierarchy. Tree map charts are best suited for comparison of hierarchical views of data. The sunburst category for plotting data that is organized as a hierarchical structure with gaps in the hierarchy. A sunburst chart is made up of concentric rings, with each ring representing one level of the hierarchy. Sunburst charts are ideal for displaying data organized in multiple levels of categories. Our histogram category for plotting data that is arranged over a distribution. In a histogram chart, the columns represent data ranges in the form of frequency bins, and the vertical bars show the frequency distribution. Histogram charts are best suited to display frequencies in a distribution of data. And then a type in histogram is Pareto for plotting data that is arranged over a sorted distribution. Pareto chart is a subtype of the histogram chart type that displays sorted histogram charts in which the columns are sorted in descending order. These charts also display a cumulative total percentage value as a line. We have box and whisker for plotting data that includes multiple data sets. A box and whisker chart indicates mean values and outliers in a distribution of data. While a box shows data distribution, a whisker shows a variation of data in the upper and lower quartiles. Box and whisker charts are ideal for presenting multiple data sets that are related to one another. And we also have waterfall for data that includes both positive and negative values. A waterfall chart displays running totals of data and shows how a value is affected by the inclusion of positive and negative values. Waterfall charts are ideal for analyzing fluctuations in financial data. And then your last category is combo. And your combo charts have two different chart types for documenting two different ranges of data. We also have our area charts, XY scatter, stock, surface, and radar. So within each category, if I choose column here, all of these subtypes of that category are listed along the top. So you can see column has clustered column. You just hover over for the name. We have stacked column, 100% stacked column, 3D clustered column, 3D stacked, 3D 100% stacked, and 3D column. So all of your categories have different subtypes along the top. So I choose my subtype and I click OK, and it's going to insert that chart onto my slide, and it's also going to open up a mini Excel spreadsheet, an additional window for you. And this is going to be filled with sample data. You may have to enlarge this window. You can hover over the bottom right-hand corner and just click and drag to make that larger. But it opens up with sample data. This data is meaningless to you. It's just some random numbers, categories, and series that they entered here, so you can see that a chart has been entered. In this Excel spreadsheet, you would want to input the actual data that you're charting. You can go ahead and click into include whatever cells you need. You can type directly into the spreadsheet. Or since in this example, I'm basing my chart on the table in slide number 4, I could simply copy and paste that data into my Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to select all of my cells here. I'm going to right-click and copy that to the clipboard. And then I'm going to bring my cursor over to my first cell in A1. And I can right-click and I'm going to match the destination formatting. That'll get rid of the formatting that was brought over from the table. So now you can see I have my quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, last fiscal year, current fiscal year. What I don't need is the extra sample data that's coming in from categories 3 and 4. So I can highlight that and delete that extra information. And if I navigate back to my slide number 3, you can see my chart has been updated to reflect the information that's in that Excel sheet. So I don't have to save this information. It's automatically saved for me. I can simply close out of that. And again, my chart's been updated. I might need to move this so it's not on top of that subtitle at the bottom. But all of these columns represent the figures that are coming from my four quarters there. So you can see this group is the last fiscal year, with gray being quarter 1, orange quarter 2, the dark gray quarter 3, and the purple column quarter 4, and then my cluster over here is the current fiscal year. Only reason this has 3 and this has 4 is because if you look at your table, the current fiscal year quarter 4 here is 0, so that's why nothing is shown. If I was to put this at 100, I would need to update the data in that Excel spreadsheet as well. And I can always do that by going to my Chart Tools Contextual tab, my Design tab. Here I have my Edit Data drop-down. Edit Data, that will open up that Excel spreadsheet again for you. So I could update that current fiscal year, quarter 4, to be 100 to reflect that, and you can see then I get that fourth quarter sales. Okay, so that's why that wasn't there to begin with. Your next video will be Activity 4.1 on page 50.